Hello Underdogger, it's your boy Underdog Recapped. Before we start, warning, spoilers ahead. Today, I'm going to recap a fantasy movie released in 2006, called Click. This film is about a workaholic architect whose wife was frustrated by the amount of time he had to spend at work. Furthermore, he also doesn't have time to play with his children. One day, he met an eccentric inventor who gave him a universal remote which one of its abilities is to control time, allowing him to skip moments which he found boring. He happily skipped the boring times until he finally realized something. So, what did he finally realize? What's the other functions of the remote? Let's find out together, in a doggy-styled recap. Michael is an architect who lives with his beautiful wife, Donna. They have two little children named Ben and Samantha. At first glance, their family looks very happy. However, it turns out that Michael is extremely busy with his job. His kids have been asking him to finish the treehouse in their backyard, but Michael can do nothing but promise that he will finish it soon. Before going to work, his wife also reminds him to attend Ben's swimming competition this afternoon and he promises that he will go there. However, Michael just keeps making promises as he gets there late. His kids and wife are disappointed because of his behavior. Meanwhile in the office, Michael is known as a great and smart architect. Therefore, he has a special position in his company and he is the right hand of his boss, Mr. Ammer. Not only good at designing luxurious buildings, he is also good at handling the customers. There are some complicated customers from Middle East Asia who are angry because of some miscommunication caused by Mr. Ammer. But, Michael managed to calm them down. Mr. Ammer is very satisfied with him, so he offers him another big project. Michael knows that this mega project will take up his time with his family, but the amount of money he will earn makes him finally take up the project. At night, Michael is having a family gathering with his parents. But again, he can't leave his phone as Mr. Ammer doesn't stop discussing the project with him. His parents are also disappointed. Michael should have left his job for a while during family time. Meanwhile at home, Donna sees Michael keeps coughing and she starts worrying about his health. He has been working too hard until he forgets about his health too. On this occasion, Michael tells him that he has to postpone the camping trip that they have arranged since a long time ago because he has to finish the project on time. Donna can't believe what she heard and they start arguing. Michael thinks that what he is doing is for his own family's good. While arguing, Michael realizes that the universal remote they have is not functioning properly, and it annoys him even more. He decides to go outside to find a universal remote even though it's already late at night. He manages to find an open store and enters it. There, he sees a comfortable bed and jumps on it. Suddenly, he accidentally sees a secret room which is written beyond. He is curious about that room so he enters it. There, he meets an eccentric professor named Morty. Michael tells him that he is looking for a universal remote, so Morty gives him the most advanced remote he has and it's not even in the market yet. He tells Michael to be careful while using that remote. Arriving at home, he immediately tries his new remote to turn on the television, and it works. He then watches some video about architecture to gain some insight, and when he is going to start drawing, Donna suddenly shows up to discuss his behavior. Michael presses the pause button so he can listen to his wife. Surprisingly, it turns out that not only the video that is paused, Donna is accidentally frozen too. And, Michael doesn't even realize what's happening to his wife. He clicks the play button to continue watching the video and Donna isn't frozen anymore. Not long after, he is annoyed with his dog which is continuously barking. He randomly presses the mute button on his dog and magically his dog is muted. Beside that, he also tries to press the fast forward button on it, which makes his dog move so fast. He can't believe that the remote has the ability to do all of that. So, he comes back to the store to find Morty as he wants to know the full features of the remote. Morty tells him to press the menu button and the moments he has passed suddenly appears. He decides to go to the moment he had last Tuesday where he can see himself at the office. He is so amazed that the remote has this feature. After that, he tries the feature of the making of which turns out to send him to the moment when his parents were making them. Realizing it, he immediately presses another button, and it leads him to the moment when she was still in his mother's womb. He can also see his birth after that. Lastly, he goes to his childhood where his father was showing magic tricks on him. Seeing all that makes him believe that the remote is not an ordinary remote. He then plans to use that remote in his life. Morty reminds him that this remote is a powerful device, and he must be careful with it. On the other hand, Michael's parents are going to come for a family dinner. Of course Michael doesn't want it because he is too busy. So, he uses the fast forward button to skip the dinner and now he thinks that he can do his project peacefully. However, he is wrong. Donna suddenly comes and starts complaining because she doesn't have enough time with him. Again, he uses the remote to skip the moment. At midnight, Donna suddenly begs him for sex, but the workload makes him not have any passion to do it. So, he skips the moment again. He happily thinks the remote is a very useful device, but unfortunately he realizes that he doesn't have any idea about what's going on during fast forward, such as what he heard and what he spoke. So, he calls Morty for an explanation. It turns out that during the fast forward, he was on autopilot mode, that's why he doesn't know anything during the fast forward. However, he still finds that the remote is so beneficial and he likes it even more. Therefore, he starts to use the remote to arbitrarily skip many moments he doesn't want, such as dealing with annoying people. Not only that, he also uses the remote for his own fun, changing his skin color, changing his boss's language, farting on his boss's face, and many more. Meanwhile, he is getting less and less concerned about his family. He just keeps working and skipping times, even carelessly skipping to his promotion. Suddenly, he realizes something bad. Whenever Michael meets annoying people and argues with his wife, the remote suddenly skips the time. It makes Michael skip so many times that he doesn't know that his dog died. Donna is so angry knowing it, and his household is really on the verge now. He finally realizes that he has gone too far and tries to calm Donna by kissing her. However, the time is suddenly skipped again. Michael is so stressed because he didn't want to skip the time, and Morty suddenly shows up. He explains that all this time, the remote learns Michael's behavior. It automatically skipped the time because what the remote knows is Michael hates kissing. Morty also surprises Michael by saying that he has already skipped 1 year. The next day, Mr. Ammer tells Michael that he is satisfied with his job, and he wouldn't be surprised if one day Michael ended up being a CEO. Michael says that he would love that to happen, but he suddenly realizes what he just said could trigger the remote to skip to his promotion as he ever skipped to his promotion. As a result, the remote skips to 10 years later, when he becomes the CEO. He is awakened in a luxury room and he realizes that his body is so fat. He immediately comes to his house and he finds out that his children are already grown, but they seem to hate him a lot. Ben has grown into a fat teenager while Samantha has grown into a bad girl. He also sees that the treehouse, which was supposed to be finished a long time ago, is still not finished yet. He really doesn't have any idea of what he has done during the past 10 years. Suddenly, he sees Donna come home with another man, who was Ben's swimming coach when he was a kid, Bill. He is so angry, so he tries to give that man a lesson. He pauses the time with the remote and kicks that man in the nuts. He presses the play button and the dog suddenly attacks him. His head hits the wall, making him faint. When he wakes up, he sees that Donna's face is already wrinkled. She tells him that he had cancer and a heart attack because of obesity. He also sees that he's already back skinny because of chemo. Michael is told that he has been sick for 6 years, which means the remote automatically skipped his sickness. He comes to his office and he can see his photo everywhere. Suddenly, a young man comes to him, who turns out to be his son. Apparently, Ben also works at his company. Ben tells him that his grandfather has died. Michael is so surprised because he missed the moment when his father died. So, he comes to his father's graveyard and regrets what he has done all this time. He was so focused with his work that he forgot about him. Now, he is so depressed and uses the remote to bring him to a happy moment. It leads him to Ben's wedding and he is so glad to see this moment. He then meets Donna, who is with Bill. Again, Michael gives him a lesson by pausing the time and dropping his pants. He then asks Donna to dance with him. But, he accidentally hears Samantha call Bill by dad, which causes him to have another heart attack. Therefore, he is sent to the hospital. When he is awakened at the hospital, his children are visiting him. Ben tells him that he has to cancel his honeymoon because there is a job which he thinks is more important than it. Michael tries to remind him because he doesn't want Ben to make the same mistake. However, the doctor suddenly shows up and tells them to let Michael rest, so they leave him. Michael immediately gets up from his bed to chase them, even though he is very weak. As a result, not long after he starts running, his heart can't stand it anymore and he is down. Luckily, Ben sees his father fall on the street, so they immediately come to him. Michael knows that he is dying, so he says his last words. He tells Ben that family should come first and he should go to the honeymoon. He also tells Donna that he loves her. Suddenly, Morty shows up and tells him that it's time to go. Soon after that, Michael finally died. Michael suddenly wakes up on the store's bed when he was looking for a universal remote. He can't believe that he came back to this time and immediately goes to his parents' house to apologize. After that, he comes home and tells Donna that he loves her so much. He ensures her that he will arrange the camping trip and spend more time with the family. Beside that, he also tells his children that he will finish the treehouse soon so they can sleep inside it next week. After that heartwarming moment, he suddenly sees the remote, with a message from Morty. It means the terrible moments he had were not a dream. However, Michael is grateful because he is still given a chance to fix his mistakes. Morty's remote really gave him a valuable lesson. So, do you agree with Michael that family should come first? What will you do if you have the remote? Let us know what you think in the comment below. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you in our next recap.